It's 3 degrees. February 17th, St. John, New Brunswick, 3 degrees. It looks like summertime. We got this little bit of wind, and it makes it feel closer to like 1 degree or 0. But no, it can't be 0 because I'm barehanded in my combat jacket. I'm only wearing a combat jacket. It's open. And I got my, to prevent wind, I got these warmer wind pants on. Oh, well, I guess I'm well prepared if there's a temperature drop. What is this? Well, that is a bone. The ancient people used to use animal bones just like this. They would break them up and they would use them for ornaments. Or they would take a bone like this and they would make a snare so that the loop hung at one end and the where the knot on the string was inside the bone, and when an animal got snared, the animal couldn't chew through this bone very easily. It would strangulate before it could bite through, chew through the bone. And that's exactly what they did with a bone like this. They would make a snare set with it or turn it into ornaments. Just cut it into little bead-like rings. But the fact I don't know where this bone came from, I'm just going to drop it back on the beach and wash my hands when I get home. That little stretch right up there is a good spot to look. I raked it once and I found quite a few things there. People just find things here on other parts of the beach and they're not sure what they are and they just drop them, leave them, and then they get trampled underfoot and then slowly buried. But those little things turn out to be little pieces of fossil coral or plant fossil or pipe stem, stuff like that. Even rock crystals. I think I found rock crystals there too. But I don't have my rake today. I still have to buy a small rake. A couple of them in fact. Because they're amazingly handy when it comes to raking through this gravelly stuff, stirring up whatever was hidden under the surface. It's beyond words. This is not a February 17th that I would have thought that a February 17th would have represented snowstorms and snowfall. bitter cold temperatures. And there would be a blanket of land on everything, a blanket of snow on the land. But no, we really are getting unbelievably warm, unseasonal temperatures. Now, 100 miles north, the tree buds are not out, and they have snow on the ground. So I don't know what it is. The ocean is either warming up, or the Gulf Stream took a swing towards the north. I don't know. The warmth of the southern Atlantic is washing ashore here, kind of warming it up like a nice blanket. Yeah, I think I have 2 more hours before the tide is out full. So, there's no reason to rush. Yeah, some little... Right there is a little thin piece of modern porcelain. That's a piece of roofing, not tar paper, but the other thing. It's a roofing material. Well, let's stir this up, see what's here. You don't know what's laying under the little seaweed until you actually look. What is this? That's okay, that's a piece of wood. Seaweed piled up in here. No, there's nothing down in there. Yeah, the wind you hear is actually cold enough to make my fingertips start feeling cold. I might go to gloves and mitts. I probably will. What is this? A little piece of porcelain. I guess I'm being lazy. I'm not going to bother digging the trowel out and sifting through. Just stir it around with my boot. I see some coal. No, nothing on it. That's where the Carboniferous period fossils are in coal. Well, they're in shale too. Alright. Yeah, this wind has an edge that's cold enough to make the skin on the finger very uncomfortably cold, so I am going to get my mitt. That might help if oh, sorry. That's better. Stick or something? Stick. I saw it and I thought, hey, my pipe's down. Nope, not pipe stem, just a stick. A chameleon. Yeah, I bet if I rake this area right here, I would find something. But since I don't have a rake, I will concentrate on checking out the other area. This little thing here obviously is a gate, but as anyone in geology or archaeology knows, wood, bone, plant, and coral can become magnetized, and this happens to be a piece of coral from a coral head. It would actually make a neat little pendant if you attach a pendant, or you attached a cord to it and hung it around the neck like a good luck charm. Oh, but I got so many I have so many little stones. If I started making little necklaces with little charms on them for the boss, and I used all the little stones I had, she might have 50 or 60 little necklaces. Oh my, that is interesting. Oh my god, where'd it go? Well, by God, if that's not a church arrowhead, then it's the most perfect accident I've ever seen. That would make an excellent arrowhead. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep that. I will donate it to the school, or I might even throw it in with my Neolithic fishing kit. Just as a conversation piece, I guess. I do have my hunting slingshot and a snaring kit and fishing kit if I wanted to or had to raise food in the woods or acquire food in the woods. So that little arrowhead or whatever it is probably wouldn't come into use. Now, I know I said it in other videos, but we are about 3,000 feet from Maliseet, a 1604 fortified Maliseet village. It was called Ubi Gooey. The name sounds funny, but that's the actual name of the village. If you Google Champlain, Navy Island, 1604 fortified Maliseet village, you will see the diagram that Champlain made of that village when he surveyed here on his arrival in 1604. And the Maliseet, they definitely were familiar with European sailing ships because they paddled out in birch bark canoes, offering furs to trade for metal tools. Okay. Yeah, I like walking up here. You never know what you're going to find. Well, this stone right here, for example, that there is a sedimentary stone right next to a granite stone. I don't know the age of the sandstone. Yeah, the sandstone. That there is 180 million years old. This, I'm not sure the age. Another example of sedimentary, right there. And the agate is that's very old. That's in a lot of that is in the Ordovician period, Devonian period. The same with the igneous stone. Most of that is Devonian. Now, I am looking for fossil coral, pipe stem, plant fossil. Alright. And this is the reason I don't like coming up around here, because there's just too many it takes up too much time, and I never really find much up here. I really don't. I found the odd piece of fossil coral and a few artifacts, but other than that, not much. And besides, anything that ends up here gets mucked around pretty much, and it doesn't have a long survival period as an artifact or piece of coral. Yeah, geology is different everywhere in the world. There are literally some beaches in Africa identical to this. But this is so much different than New Zealand. So much different than Japan. I'm talking geology, like what a beach might look like. Okay, that's probably just an accident. But that is something else you could use as a point if you wanted to for an arrow. All I have to do is just keep rubbing this stone. You just rub the stone back and forth in a circle, basically using one stone as a whetstone. And you did it long enough, you would bring this to a point so sharp, to an edge sharp enough to open skin, that you could use it as an arrowhead quite readily. That's probably a broken arrowhead. Now a lot of people assume that a spear point only has one shape, and that's it, and an arrowhead only has one shape, and that is it. And any professional archaeologist will tell you that assumption is totally wrong, because, well, 8,000 years ago to 13,000 years ago, spear points were large and bulky, and brute force was used to make horribly large holes in game.